Today, I want to talk about something that a lot of Etsy sellers wonder about: ads, sales, and discounts, and whether they really help or whether they just quietly eat away at your profit. Etsy does give us a lot of promotional tools. You can run ads, you can run sales, you can send coupons, you can set up automatic discounts, and it can feel like you're supposed to be using all of them all the time. But in a one-of-a-kind vintage shop, that approach can actually work against you. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what I personally do, what my real numbers show, and how I decide when to use these tools and when I don't. Hi, I'm Carol, and this is my Etsy shop. I am not an Etsy expert. I'm learning all the time, just like you. On this channel, I share what's working for me in my shop, not to tell you that you should do what I do, but maybe just to give you a different perspective. So before we get into the specifics, here's my approach in a nutshell. Promotions are tools, not a strategy. I don't run them by default. I run them with a purpose. Usually that purpose is moving a crowded section, rotating inventory, or converting high-intent shoppers, not just doing something because my sales feel slow. So let's start with ads. And here I don't mean the Etsy offsite ads. I do leave that on and those work well for me. Here I'm going to be talking about turning on an ad campaign to run for an item or multiple items in my shop. Now, I've tested ads before. I used to test them a lot more than I do now. At least I've learned my lesson now. And here's my experience, not theory. In one of my ad runs, I got thousands of views and a few dozen clicks and 0 orders. Money spent, no conversions. Etsy recommends that a seller run their ad campaign for a minimum of 30 days. I have never done that. I don't have any one-of-a-kind items with a margin big enough to make it worthwhile. Even if I was only advertising at $1 a day, that'd still be $30. And when I've tried ads for multiple items at one time, the ad money just kind of evaporates, and very quickly. Even if I put $5 a day towards ads, that money disappears very quickly when you're advertising multiple items. Now, I don't mean the ads never work, but it does mean clicks are not the same as buyers. Traffic is not the same as intent. Because I sell one-of-a-kind items, ads are harder to scale. There's no repeat SKUs, no restock, no multiplying winners. Now this would be different if I sold the same item over and over again, say a crocheted hat, which I was constantly making and replenishing in my shop. But each item that I sell is unique, usually. And if I do happen to have a particular item that sells well for me so that I restock it as often as I can, like that wedding cake topper I sell all the time, well, the fact that that sells well for me is proof to me that I don't need to be running ads on them. So my current approach is very conservative towards Etsy ads. I don't normally run ads on my vintage items. About once a month, I do use that small ad credit that I get from Etsy Plus. I'll put it on one higher priced item and run it just for a day, usually a Saturday or a Sunday, and treat it like a test, not like a solution. Ads are not my rescue plan for slow sales. They're a limited visibility tool at best. And I'll answer this right here. I find the solution to get more sales going in my shop when times get slow is not running ads. It's listing new items in my shop. Now let's talk about sales, actual price reduction sales. Etsy recently put out an article entitled Understanding Truthful Advertising and Discount Practices. Practical resources to help you comply with consumer protection laws when you offer sales to buyers. And one more important piece, this really matters, is running truthful sales. Your regular price needs to be real, not inflated just to show a bigger discount if you run a sale, and not permanently marked down. This is not the same as going into a listing and lowering the price because you've realized it's probably too high. This changes the price permanently, and the old price isn't shown, and it's not shown as a sale. Sales might get attention, but buyer confidence is what actually closes the order. Clear pricing, honest descriptions, and consistency build more long-term trust than constant markdown banners. I almost never run shop-wide sales. Instead, I run section-based sales, but really on a very limited basis. I try to offer my customers the best fair price that I can, considering what I source for something and what it is legitimately selling for currently in other shops or on other platforms. But if one section in my shop starts to feel crowded or slow, I'll run a sale just on that section. That lets me move inventory without discounting everything else in the shop. These section-based sales help me to move slow categories and reduce crowding if one section is getting too much bigger than the other sections. And it protects my best inventory. Some things I never run on sale: wedding, anniversary items, crystal stemware, well, actually glass in general, because that always sells well for me. And sales do help me get what money I can out of inventory that is likely to go on just taking up room in my shop and costing me additional listing fees every few months. My sales usually run longer than shorter, so typically a few weeks and sometimes a full month. I found that quick flash sales rarely do much for vintage in my shop, like turning on 10% off for this weekend. Buyers need time to see items, to favorite them, and to come back after they've decided. A sale should solve a specific inventory problem. If it's not solving that problem, I don't run it. Now, I have a large selection of America 250 Bicentennial collectibles in my shop, and as of the 1st of January, they were not selling well. So I ran that section at 30% off the last 3 weeks in January, and it really helped to start moving that inventory, and it looks like that momentum is continuing after the sale was concluded as well. Now, here's another important observation from my own shop. Small discounts under 30% usually don't move the needle much for me. I've tested it time after time after time, and it just never works for me. Once the discount gets into that 30% range or higher, though, I start to see more response if I leave the sale on for long enough. That tells me that buyers react to meaningful discounts, not little tiny ones. A small percentage off reduces my margin, but often does not change buyer behavior. So I don't run lots of small sales just to look active. Now, a couple of times a year, I do run a structured clearance sale. I create a clearance section and mark items down in stages. The first round, moderate discount, like 30% off. And then the second round, say after it's been at 30% off for 3 weeks, I'll put it on 50% for another 3 weeks. I did this last summer with old merchandise from 2022 and 2023 that were still lingering in my shop, and it really worked to clear out old inventory. I put those older inventory items on sale for 30% off for about 3 weeks, and a lot of it did move. After that time, I put the rest of it on sale for 50% off, and that actually did clear most of it out. And guess what? I did not lose money on any of those pieces. So now I'm going to show you a quick screen demonstration how to quickly put an entire section on sale. Let's go to the computer. So here I have my shop manager. I'm going to go down to marketing, and I'm going to choose sales and discounts. And I'm going to click down here on Run a Sale. All right, to make it worthwhile, I'm going to say it is 30% off everywhere. Okay, so today when I'm taping this is the 8th. And we'll just say I was going to run it through the 15th. No terms or conditions. And I'm going to call this example. Example sale. It has to be all one word. Continue. Okay, now, if you're going to run your whole shop wide, you would choose this, but I always choose select listings. And then right here, you can add listings by shop section. So I go in and I choose the section. This is the section I ran on sale before. And it shows me everything in that section. And I can confirm that right there. So if I click confirm and create sale, it would start the sale again. I'm not going to do that today, but I just wanted you to see where you could put an entire section on sale. After items have been on sale at both 30% and then later 50% off, anything that still doesn't sell gets restyled, probably with their use reimagined, like when I began showing my silver plate trays as vanity trays rather than as trays for selling food. Bundled into curated vignettes and sold pre-styled, moved to my booth, or re-photographed and relisted. That is planned inventory rotation, not panic discounting. Now let's talk about coupons, because this part is interesting. Look at my last 12 months of orders. Only a small percentage used my favorite item coupon, but a much larger percentage used my abandoned cart coupon, almost 1 in every 10 sales. That confirms something that we probably already suspect. Cart intent is much stronger than favorite intent. Someone who puts an item in their cart is much closer to buying than someone who just clicks the heart button. My abandoned cart coupon is doing real work behind the scenes. I'm going to keep that favorite coupon turned on too. It's used from time to time, but my main converter is that abandoned cart coupon. So here's the big takeaway as pertains to my particular shop. Ads, sales, and discounts can help, but only when they're used intentionally. I need to know my margins, I need to know my purpose, and it pays to track my results. I don't want to feel pressured to turn on every promotional tool just because it's there. If you've run ads or sales in your own shop, I love to hear what your numbers showed, because mine were really interesting. Your experience might be different from mine, and comparing notes helps all of us to make better decisions. Thanks for being here today.